Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble, of course. I believe that we're live. The pink ones aren't quite as good as the red ones, but they're still pretty good. Just saying. We've got just a second here. Everything's docketed. Good. Okay, we're going to talk about the Gaza Conquest plan today. Of course, that's big in the news. I would talk about the Lady Gaga concert and the insanity that apparently unfurled there. Let me touch on it in brief. Apparently, a Satanist was planning to offer children as part of a ritualistic sacrifice, and another individual intended to bomb the concert venue. It would have been, well, it wouldn't have been funny particularly, but it would have been, ironic if the Satanist had started to butcher small children on the live stage and then got killed by a bomb. We're just touching on that in brief, but we've got the Israel Conquest plan. I'll read some of that verbatim, by the way. Kilauea has erupted in a pattern not seen in nearly 40 years. Yes, the lava was sloshing up and down, actually, out of it. It looks like the Volcano god is particularly angry at the moment. The scandal of minority contracting. Race-based contracting regimes threaten core American values, writes Judge Glock. It's a fitting surname, by the way, for this particular judge, just saying. How Canada Made America Great. This is a simp piece. We're going to be talking about the simping for Canada among people who otherwise might not even really particularly support or even know about the nation, by the way. Meet George Simeon, the hard-right Romanian election winner, who's banned from Ukraine. This is from Politico, so we should expect this to be a left-wing article, generally speaking. And left-wing it is, because apparently it is of import if the Ukrainian government does not like you, even if you are not from Ukraine. And finally, a man let snakes bite him 202 times. His blood helped create a new anti-venom. This one is fascinating. That's our science news for the day, by the way. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we've got all sorts of crazy on. I can't even keep up with all the news. Like, between the one-offs and the live stream, I can kind of compensate at the moment, but there are so many primo news articles that it's a little bit difficult, actually. I can't make 10 videos a goddamn day. I just can't do it. And I've only got so much time in the live streams to actually cover the news anyway, so I am unable, unfortunately, to actually get to it all. We're going to have some Bovrite later, too. I know, I'm going to wait till Anton is here, and then he gets freaked out, apparently. He thinks it's too salty to just eat it on its own. I disagree. I think that it's delicious. May put some in a soup soon, actually. You'd put it in a beef stew, come to think of it. Actually, it would be just about perfect. You would need to definitely water it down a little bit because of the salt content, but yeah, it'd probably be pretty tasty, honestly. So yeah, we're talking about volcanoes and volcanic eruptions within politics, basically. That's the news of the day. It's a fun time had by all. Before Anton gets here, don't tell him I did this. We're going to have some Vegemite. Wish I had some crackers to put it on. She just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. It's good. Has a different flavor, though. More of a malted flavor, as it were. The Bovrite's more of a beefy flavor. And the Marmite is more like, I don't know really how to classify it. I just find it fun. I'm allowed to have fun on my live streams. Oh, Jabberjaw, there's nothing saltier than a sardine. Have you tried anchovies? Try some anchovies, then try some Bovrite. The Dead Night Tiger tastes like a hobo's ass. No, it actually tastes delicious, honestly. Ruron Sticks, have you made a 100-day mark of President Trump's administration? I'd give him a B+ overall. Yeah, I was on Ramsey Paul's show, actually, the other day, and that's the overall grade that I would give the administration. First term, B minus. Did good. This term, doing better. Definitely, especially with hiring decisions. Wildman, Morning Sticks, N-Bomb Queen is approaching $750,000. Yeah, that is a weird case with the Shiloh chick, who, by the way, is very attractive. Just saying. The Shiloh chick there was being effectively harassed by an individual and has been doxxed. Her social security number got leaked. Leftoids have been targeting her relentlessly. And she was literally like, fuck you. And now she's got plenty of money for her legal defense. So, you know, good for her. Green Terror, that King Cobra parody picture of you with the pizza was cool. Yeah, I didn't see it. Nobody sent it to me on Twitter. Nobody sent the parody picture of me. I love seeing these things. I'm a goddamn pirate. Yeah, NKFD. I don't think that what she did was a crime. No such thing as hate speech anyhow. Yeah, when she's being confronted by another individual in public, the other individual came to her and was bad-mouthing her and harassing and arguably stalking her. It's not her that's committing the crime. It doesn't matter if she decides to say the hard R or something like that. Who gives a shit? She's being stalked and harassed. John Lincoln, I heard she's single, Sticks. Well, I am not, myself. Oh, the garbage pail kid pic of me. Yes, and I loved that. That was great. Yeah, the hard R, as it were. Oh my God, you said the N-word. You're a terrorist. That's not realistic. That's not reality. It makes no sense. It's like, when did we get to the point as a society where you're going to get more time in prison for saying the N-word than for literally assaulting a cop or something like that? I think that this is a little bit backwards. Just saying. I don't think that people should go to jail at all for saying the hard R. Do we jail people for saying honky or cracker? There's a total double standard now, isn't there? I can call all of you honkies right now. YouTube's not going to do jack shit about it. They do not care. But if I drop the hard R, that magical word, or a few others, all of a sudden my channel disappears entirely overnight. It's a little bit different now, isn't it? Let's talk about Israel and Gaza. Jerusalem, CNN. Of course, so it'll be a balanced article, I'm sure. Israel's security cabinet voted Sunday to expand military operations in Gaza and establish a new framework for the delivery of aid, according to two Israeli officials. The latter would be, I think, more tenuous, by the way. The vote came hours after the military said it would mobilize tens of thousands of reservists, strengthening its capacity to operate in the besieged Palestinian territory. Notice the word besieged. Linguistics, of course. Not that it's necessarily wrong, but, you know, it's definitely one-sided. One Israeli official said the new plan for Israel's war in Gaza involves the conquest of territory and remaining there. The Israeli military will displace the Palestinian population to southern Gaza while carrying out powerful strikes against Hamas, the official said. Over 2,400 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since mid-March, when Israel launched a wave of deadly strikes shattering a ceasefire which had been in place for nearly 2 months. More than 52,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since the war began, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health. Of course, their opinion is also going to be a little bit lopsided. You know, well, this person died of a heart attack after seeing somebody shredded by the Israeli munitions, so we're going to count them in that mix. So you have propaganda on both sides. You've had this for decades and decades, since before most of us were fucking born. It's been going on since time immemorial, really, when you think about it. This entire region is nothing more than a giant powder keg. In my opinion, we should simply ignore it. we should ignore the situation entirely. But because of religious convictions, religious orthodoxy among some of the political class, and the expectations of their constituents, people increasingly in the United States are taking up hard lines on both sides. So people who have left-wing districts, etc., people who are on the left wing of politics, they tend to become more and more pro-Palestine. People on the right wing of politics, and with generally more religious constituents, they tend to take up more and more of a pro-Israel line. And so you've got this problem where it's an irreconcilable situation overall. There is no reconciliation possible. What'll end up happening is now, apparently, Israel intends to effectively re-annex Gaza, and create an open-air concentration camp for real, and then bomb the shit out of Hamas members. Well, that's all well and good. Nobody really has any love for Hamas, including, I think, most Palestinians, by the way. The problem is you're going to kill civilians in the operation, and you're not going to destroy Hamas. It is not possible to do so. Their ideology will live on. They will simply renew themselves in a new form once Israel is ground down. That's what will happen. And they'll probably start emerging from the West Bank as well. Just saying, though, I find it very funny. Like that House Act that thankfully has been shelved that I talked about this morning. Out of one of the committees, there was going to be a resolution, a House resolution, to amend the ongoing bill against boycotts against Israel, BDS, boycott, divestment, and I can't remember exactly what the last word was. But it only pertains to Israel, particularly. Technically, it's extended to any country against which the United States has no active boycott. But we all know, let's face it, the actual reason for the bill. There's one obvious glaring nation that stands out among all others that the United States is uniquely involved with and interested in. Now, in one case, this kind of makes sense. Israel is a great staging ground for the United States. It is effectively a giant military base. From there, we can operate all over the Middle East, and strategically, therefore speaking, it is quite valuable because of its particular location. There's a reason why so many nations have fought over this one otherwise generally arid, inhospitable piece of land. Oh yeah, there's a lot of tourism there, don't get me wrong. You can grow olives and shit like that. But by and large, Israel, other than its location at the crux of 3 continents, and the trade, therefore, involved with Israel, would not be generally of interest to any nation. And yet nations over and over and over again have fought over this one tiny piece of land. That's because of trade more than anything else. Wild Bill, I don't hang with you anymore. The hat and glasses keep me from taking you seriously. I don't care if you take me seriously. It means nothing. Like I was dressing any more maturely years ago. Yeah, with my open jacket and shit like that. BW, woohoo! I can't wait for that Ukraine deal to come into effect. That with the India deal might boost our economy. Then let's face it, most people won't care about the wars. I care about the wars. It's just that it's not my war. It's not my particular struggle. I don't want anyone to die. I don't want anyone to get screwed. But there's nothing that I can do about it. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to attack the Russians? Well, then a bunch of Russians die. Yay! They're less human than the Ukrainians because CNN told people so. That's my opinion. Anton is here. We have Anton in the house over on Rumble. My apologies, Anton. I already sampled some of the Vegemite. Now he's going to give his famous line, too salty. Yeah, Bovrite is definitely the best of the 3. It's light years better than Vegemite or Marmite. No offense to any Australian or British viewers, by the way. Yeah, Anton does it right. That's what I'm talking about. Still got a couple more over there, for which I am very thankful. It is a rainy day. It's one of those days where I get a boost of energy because it's like warm-ish, but also rainy, and slight breeze, but not windy. And on days like that, especially this time of year, for some odd reason, the weather pattern is just perfect so that I feel energized. I don't know why. It's the same as in June. We usually get 2 or 3 days in June where the clouds are soaring overhead, but you've only got a mild breeze on the ground, and it's just rained, and it's warm, but it's not hot, and it's kind of cloudy, but not fully cloudy. Those are the best days of all. I can't wait to see the next couple that we'll get next month. Sometimes you get one in late May, but not usually. Usually it's about mid-June. BW, not you, Sticks. The sheeple won't care about the wars if their prices are cheaper. I would not insult you that way. Yeah. Yeah, as long as things domestically are going well, people are a little bit more, calm generally. I wonder why. Tomaski, ionized atmosphere can make me giddy. Oh, maybe that's it. I don't know. Cooking Inferno. How did those fiddleheads turn out? They were delicious, and I'll tell you how I cooked them. One of my favorite spring treats, along with morels. Yes, I fried them off with a lot of butter and a bit of garlic. Then I added a balsamic vinaigrette and actually a bit of sugar, along with celery salt, of course, and cooked them off. So the taste, it's like a tangy, slightly sweet flavor over the vegetativeness, so to speak. They came out perfect. I also cooked nettles off, and I made a veggie soup. And they all came out perfect. Today I'm going to take the remnant of the veggie soup, add a bit more broth, and I'm also going to slice up a pepper, and I'm going to fry that off and put that in the soup as well, in order to make additional servings. And maybe I'll make it into a forever soup. Have you heard about that? Like, apparently in England they had a soup that was like technically 80 years old or something like that. Like they had been just adding new stock and new vegetables and shit to it for years and years and keeping it simmering constantly. And it became, I guess, what they call a forever soup or something. Yeah. I too love 80-year-old soup. Some of the atoms in there were been stirring around for the last few decades, so yum. And apparently it's perfectly fine to eat. Further right than you, goth girls. Yeah, gothy attire is definitely a good thing. When I get back to New Orleans the next time, I intend to go to the Vampire Cafe. There are several of them, actually. Apparently, people who dress like this, by the way, are very popular in New Orleans. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano erupts in rare pattern not seen in nearly 40 years. By the way, you can't load the video on the archive. You can go to the live page if you really want to see it, or you can just look it up on YouTube. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano could be seen hurling lava upwards of 300 feet into the air during a series of rapid rebounds, which scientists say it hasn't been seen in nearly 40 years. I watched the video of this, and it's quite astonishing, actually. I guess the fire gods are particularly antagonized at the moment. The lava sloshes up and then goes back down and then sloshes up again, and kept doing that for an extended period of time. It was interesting to see. I'm wondering if it couldn't possibly be a predictor that there's going to be some sort of geological event there, actually. Like a massive eruption or something along those lines. Kilauea is different. Some volcanoes, they lay completely, like Mount St. Helens, they lay completely dormant for years or decades. And then all of a sudden they just completely explode. And you get a pyroclastic flow and everything else. Then you've got volcanoes like Kilauea, where it's consistently active. And I guess the idea is that it tends to take pressure off of the local tectonic system, and so there's actually less of a risk of it blowing its top, literally. And so you get more lava and like a slow trickling and so forth. And I've seen people who are clearly insane out there with like steel boots and stuff like that, and they're literally like right next to the lava, and they'll twirl like, you know, poles into it to take samples and stuff like that. Some people even make art with it. And there's an old legend that if you take any of the lava rocks from, you know, Kilauea or Hawaii in general, that you're cursed and stuff like that. I myself do not believe in that. I think that that's more touristy bullshit than anything else. But it's still funny. It's always fun to have local legends. We have plenty of them in Vermont, trust me. And fucking New England has its own fair share. I suppose you could cook with it. I know that in Iceland, they do cook with, well, not with lava, obviously, but there are regions that are extremely geothermically active. And they will take pots of food and they will pile it into the soil, which heats it to a considerable degree, and they'll just bury it and then leave it, and they'll have a picnic and stuff like that. That would be fun. I would love to experience that, let me tell you. Guys, Kilauea is the most active volcano in the world. Yeah, it's consistently active, but apparently it hasn't done this in 4 decades. Cooking Inferno. Kilauea actually drops rare green gems, olivine, when it erupts on occasion. Pretty cool. Look it up. Oh no, I trust me, I know about geology. Yes, olivine is prevalent in that region. I have a feeling that they probably told people not to take anything from the volcanic slopes due to the curse, because they didn't want tourists to come in and specifically degrade it for the purpose that you're mentioning. Yes, olivine is definitely there, along with other various minerals. And lava rock is cool in general. You know, you take a big chunk of that, you can scrub your skin with it, and all sorts of things. I believe there's also something called Pele's hair, and it's similar to rutile, actually, if I remember correctly. It's like these long, golden-looking strands of crystal, and occasionally you can find that in the region as well. Well, I don't know if Mom's watching sports, or the news, or a soap opera, honestly. King of Biltong. Apologies. Is it good on here? Phone calls. No. My mom has a big indoor voice. Speaking of King of Biltong, before we get to more Bovrite, let's get to our sponsors in general. Oh yes, we've got cultivated-mind.com. You can now get doggy dose from them. And my apologies to Cultivated Mind. I forgot to shout you out at the beginning of the video, as was our agreement. My apologies. Cultivated Mind is here. Doggy Dose for all of your doggo needs. Shiny coat, more health, more wealth. You know, everyone wants their pet to live longer, so. And I definitely, based on the smell, I can guarantee that they're probably going to enjoy them, by the way. And you can also get mushroom pills from them as well. You've got Radiant Energy, you've got Brain 2, and so forth. Some good stuff. Took mine this morning. That's why I have the energy to go on and continue living. We have BiltongUSA.com. Anton, also over in chat on Rumble, can set you up with delicious biltong. By the way, use code STICKS on all 3 of these sites that I'm shouting out. Biltong is delicious. Originally made in South Africa, now Anton's making it in Texas. And it's really good, let me tell you. I'm favorable to the Cabanassi, the Wagyu's good. He can also set you up with Bovrite and things like that. I'll eat a bit right now, actually. In commemoration of the new channel meme, Too Salty. Never too salty. Delicious. And thirdly, we have jamandbean.com. That is jamnbean.com, where you can get Clank Blend coffee and a whole bunch of other coffees as well. We got Panama Blend, we have Costa Rica Blend. They're all good. I am preferable to the Clanker coffee, just saying. Hmm. Now, I'm going to have to open this one up actually pretty soon because the other packet is quickly depleting. There's a reason for this. Caffeine keeps me going too. He's also got various herbal teas, and they are delicious, let me tell you. Got a bunch of those. Yeah, King of Biltong. Ish, too salty. I knew you were going to say that. David, I left the lava rocks I found behind in Maui in 2019. My late wife was part Hawaiian, so I had to. I would have just told her there's no such thing as a volcano curse, so, we're probably safe. Robo Guy 75. I'm concerned about the movie tariff thing. I've mostly been watching foreign stuff like anime or kaiju because of how bad Hollywood is, but I'm worried it may get cut off with this. What do you think? These days, every movie gets digitized and put online, so I don't think that there will really be a problem. To be clear, as an occultist, I do not believe in volcano curses. I just joke about the volcano gods and stuff like that. There is not actually a god inside of the volcano. If they were, then definitely they must be really hot. Hopefully it's a goddess. The scandal of minority contracting. Race-based contracting regimes threaten core American values, writes Judge Glock. This is true, and you can read through that. Again, links in the description, archived, of course, to these articles. I think all of them are archived today. Unfortunately, what has happened is that the federal government and certain state governments have begun issuing contracts preferentially to people based not on the content of their character but the color of their skin, or in some cases, what dangles between their legs or doesn't dangle. I mean, we're hoping in the latter case, if there's a hole there, we're hoping there's not too much dangling going on. Otherwise, there might be a problem. Meat flaps are a thing for some people. Just saying. What we're hoping is a meritocracy. This is the way a proper society is ordered. That is that you get the contract because you're the best at the job. Hey, I can pledge that it'll cost 20% less. I can get it done 10% faster. You should give me the contract. But instead, the government is basically skewing the books and saying, well, yeah, no, but this person who's going to be slower and more expensive happens to be black, or they happen to be gay, or they happen to be female, stuff like that. It's grossly unfair, number one. It's grossly unconstitutional, number two, and there's a precedent for this, by the way, number three. The federal government under Joe Biden attempted to engage in this kind of behavior for restaurants and for, I can't remember, there was restaurants and construction groups, I think was another one, actually. I think there were three. And farms. And they attempted to prioritize aid during the COVID times to businesses that were owned by people that were minorities. And they were shot down every single time by the federal court system. Not without good reason. It's blatantly unconstitutional. It's a form of discrimination. I always use one particular example. Let's say I have a business. I sell two kinds of bread. That's all we sell. It's the Sticks Hexen bread store or something. We're simplifying it for the purposes of anecdote. I have bread variety A and bread variety B. And I put up a sign outside saying how good bread variety A is. How wonderful it is. I am not directly discriminating against bread variety B, but I am clearly choosing a side and promoting bread variety A. So while I haven't said bread B sucks or anything like that, I am still effectively insinuating that you should buy its competitor. That's exactly what the government is doing. It's exactly what the government seeks to do. This is something that should not be done at all. The government should not be playing favorites. It should be purely meritocracy. Get the quote from the goddamn business for what you want to get accomplished. And they should have blind hiring. I've encouraged this for over a decade in schools. blind enrollment so that you can't discriminate against anyone. It's pure meritocracy because the recruiter in the school doesn't even know what the person looks like or what their name is and shit like that. Same should be true for government contracts. It should be completely blind. That is, when a business pledges to try to do something that the government wants to get done, the people that are in charge of the business shouldn't even be evident to the government. This would solve the problem. All you have to do is have a form of employee blind enrollment. That's all you need to do. And then you'll be surprised at the result, I am sure. Yeah, movie tariffs. I hadn't heard of that before. The Regrind. Been streaming Oblivion Remastered. Watch my stream to yell at me and tell me what I am doing wrong. Yeah, I haven't played Oblivion. If you were playing Skyrim, then I would be able to offer some constructive criticism. Sometimes I love to watch people game, but other times I'm like, they make very elementary mistakes, and it does make me do that just a little bit. Just saying. Drennan, yeah, bake the goddamn cake 2.0. Exactly. It's Bake the Cake 2.0, but on steroids. The Swamp Cleaner Sticks, I DM'd you a thread from Matt Tardio clarifying HR 867. I think a lot of people jumped the gun on the story. I read the plain text myself. The problem is the original bill is bad enough, and this amends it to be even worse. It's not right. People, if you own a business, it's your own private business. As long as it's not under government contract, you should be able to boycott whoever you want. It doesn't matter if an IGO is involved with your business in some way. You're allowed to freely associate with who you want. I mean, this would be the case for Palestine too. If people say, well, Hamas is attacking Jewish people and going crazy, so we're boycotting Palestinian goods and products, or Yemeni goods and products, like, because of the Houthi or something. Whose business is it within the government to prevent that from happening? And why, by the way, should it be like a high-level felony charge with up to 20 years in prison? That makes absolutely no sense. James Franklin, sticks, you handsome man. Well, thank you. Let me see if I can do a good Stolas pose. Close enough. How Canada Made America Great Again. Yes, this is a fluff piece for Canada and a hit piece against Donald Trump. Let me reiterate myself for the umpteenth time. Donald Trump is not serious about annexing Canada. And the fact that they're, blaming or crediting the Canadian election results to Trump is completely asinine. And it makes no sense at all. Yeah, you got a weak conservative movement that can't get its shit straight. I wonder why the left wing won. It had nothing to do with Trump. They would have won anyway, probably. Trump comes along and says, well, we're going to enact tariffs. Oh my God, say the Canadian people. We must vote for the far left. That's not what happened. What happened is that you had a weak conservative movement incapable of basic leadership, and so they lost. It had very little to do with Donald Trump. Was there maybe some attrition? Maybe, but it didn't flip the goddamn election. That's just absolutely pointless and stupid to say. A hostile America presents a potentially existential threat to Canada, which is large but exquisitely vulnerable to U.S. pressure. And while Americans understand the importance of the trade relationship, they may not realize just how crucial a friendly Canada is to their security. Bull fucking shit. Even people of sub-room temperature IQ understand that it's important for the US and Canada to be friends. There is no American who seriously hates Canada. Nobody hates Canada. We just have a problem with their particular governing style at times, and of course with the economic situation being as it is, with their tariffs on U.S. goods. If you're going to tariff our wheat, for example, and wheat, at 88%, and automotive parts, and literally everything under the sun. If you're going to tariff literally everything that we produce to try to price us out of your markets, how can you, with a straight face, complain when we tariff you in response and try to even the playing field? It doesn't make any sense. The legacy media acts as though Canada has never tariffed us before. They've been doing that for decades. They've been doing this the whole time. Well, it's not that we hate Canada. That's not the point. It's that we want free trade. The whole point is to back them down on tariffs. What? Is Canadian wheat so inferior that you're not going to be able to sell it in the U.S. market while we'll be able to sell ours and yours? Is that what you're saying? It's an astonishing admission. If anything, the U.S. being able to prevail generally in an economic sense for decades and decades while being abused even by its own allies on economic issues such as this shows the fortitude of the American people, giving me hope. Jeremy Briggs, Canada has no bacon. Amen. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with Canadian so-called bacon, but it's not actually bacon, unfortunately. Yes, ham is bacon to them over easy mode. And their syrup is definitely inferior to that which we produce in my great state, well, formerly great state of Vermont. King of Biltong, we need 106 followers to hit 500 on our Rumble food. Please take a minute and follow our channel at rumble.com/c/eat@Antons. That is rumble.com/c/eat@Antons. Go pile in, clankers. You won't regret it. The White Menace at the White Menace. Yes, there's nothing wrong with Canadian bacon. Don't get me wrong, it's tasty, but it's not real bacon. No, real bacon comes in strips. And by the way, we're going to end up in probably a live stream long debate about this. How do you cook your bacon? I like to cook mine until it's sort of that leathery texture, so it's not overcooked. I can say if it's blackened at all or if it's completely crispy. I mean, you can crumble it up and use it for other applications, but I don't like it crispy. But I do like it chewy, to the leathery point. If it's underdone, if it's not to that point, I mean, it still tastes good, but it's just off-putting. So I will take leathery bacon over all others. I have just caused a major conversation, I am certain. Over easy. Soggy bacon, yum. On an egg muffin, wow. Crispy yellowed fat just before it turns black. Bacon and Jesus. Yeah, no, I will take regular old American style basic bitch bacon. Although I do admit there is something in the Netherlands called speck. And it's basically the same thing, but it's chopped into small pieces. More thickly cut, like little pork french fries almost. And if you're making certain dishes, you're going to want to use the speklap, or the speck. Depends on what you're making. And Liz always likes hers extra crispy. I do not. I like mine cooked the same way that I would cook, strips of bacon. Jonah Park. The Swamp Cleaner. The issues around H.R. 867 are mainly interpretational ones. But since the law is already on the books, how come we haven't seen business owners face consequences under the law? Not reported widely? Possibly. The problem is any expansion of what is an already unconstitutional law is always concerning. It does not matter what the what is put in it. Speck is goed. Agreed. Yeah, speck is great. If you're making certain dishes, you're going to need that. It's put in soups and stuff like that. Yeah. The Netherlands is a food paradise, let me put it that way. It's funny, Because some people, they pan Dutch food. I'm like, hotting is delicious, actually. It's basically a gelatinous, I think, raw fish, which is mixed with pickles and onions, actually. And they usually put a little Dutch flag on top of it. I thought it was delicious myself. Richard Reynolds, Canada is our crazy ex-girlfriend, emotional thinking and moral superiority. Yeah. Yeah. No, I very much enjoy my time when I spend it in the Netherlands. It's a beautiful country. It's got a much more mild climate than Vermont, let me tell you. And if you're in the Amsterdam area or any other cosmopolitan zone, you can get any food that you want. It's sort of like Louisiana and New Orleans. Like in New Orleans, you can get literally anything. It's all there. It is a food paradise. Like if I had unlimited money and unlimited time, and all I wanted to do was be a gourmand, I would be flying back and forth between New Orleans, New York, and Amsterdam, probably. And Tokyo, I suppose. That would be great. By the way, my friend, JD, the one that teaches in actual Japan, he sent me salt infused with sea urchin. And so I cannot wait to utilize that. It is going to be hilarious. AK Sam knows best. Why did you ban me from YouTube, chat sticks? You are not banned, actually. I saw you comment the other day. Why did you think you were banned? Sometimes YouTube blocks out chats and shit like that. It won't even let content creators actually control their own material these days. It's retarded. Over easy. Korea has better food than Japan. I am a fan of kimchi. If my dad were in South Korea, he would try every kind of kimchi he could see, probably. Who is George Simeon? Meet George Simeon, the hard-right Romanian election winner who's banned from Ukraine. Yes, it looks like Romania might lurch off into populism, which I think would be a good thing, by the way, for the nation. I like how they cast him off as being really, really hard-right. Like, he's basically a fascist, he's a Nazi. Huh, where have I heard this before? Oh, Trump's a Nazi? Malay's a Nazi? The conservatives in the UK are Nazis, even though they're not even conservative, actually. They're basically liberals. Everyone's a Nazi. Anyone that the Uniparty does not like is automatically a member of the NSDAP. I suppose that the Nazis won the Second World War. It looks like this individual is going to be the next leader of Romania. We can hope so. That would be good. The fact is that the reason why they're casting him off as far right is, I shit you not, he is against funding the war in Ukraine. So being anti-war now is a far right position. Not wanting to kill people is now far right. You could have, I mean, literally, if I could go back in time and talk to my younger self when I was at UVM, and I told myself about some of the things that I've seen. Well, the president is Donald Trump. It's far right to be anti-war, and so forth. I would have thought that I was on drugs. I probably would have been at the time, but, you know, I would have thought I was on more drugs. I would have thought I'd become delusional. It might have scared me straight, and all of a sudden I become straight edge or something like that. I become a moralist. You couldn't possibly convince me 15 years ago that the kind of political dynamic that exists right now could exist. It wouldn't make any sense to me at all. I wouldn't have been able to comprehend it. The fact that you're calling somebody far right because they're skeptic about causing a nuclear war or intervening in a proxy war that does not involve your nation directly is just whack-ass, honestly. So who is the 38-year-old firebrand leader of the Alliance for the Union of Romanians, AUR? How did he get close to the presidency? Yeah, apparently he's a fan of Trump and Maloney, so obviously he is evil. Fucking retards. David Hunter, one to please look into. The FSP and New Hampshire GOP are oddly collaborating to end town control zoning in favor of centralized state control of zoning. Please send a DM to me on Twitter if you can, with that story. Barb Feiler. I was in Vermont all weekend for Norwich University graduation. Beautiful state. The Best Western had Canadian bacon on Saturday AM. Yuck. But real bacon on Sunday. Yay. That's what I'm talking about. That's patriotism right there. Yeah, it's not that I have a problem with Canadian bacon. It is good, but it's not bacon, it's ham. If I say I want bacon, I mean strips of bacon. Speck is acceptable. Sigil, when shysters, thieves, rapists, child predators, and bankers all tell you the worst thing you can be is a Nazi, it shouldn't be a surprise when good people start wearing Hugo Boss. AK Sam knows best. I have a Vermont flag to send to you, Sticks. Where do I send it to? That sounds fun. If you DM me on Twitter, I can get you my street address. I don't need to use a P.O. box. I'm not afraid of anything these days. Sigil, and when everyone is a Nazi, no one is. True. Yeah. One of my favorite foods is just a BLT. Has to be made right, though. You need quite a bit of lettuce. I prefer a considerable amount of lettuce and only a little bit of tomato. And you can seed it or unseed it, it doesn't really matter. It has to have a double stack of bacon, obviously, and then mayonnaise on both toasted pieces of bread. They have to be toasted just to the right consistency. I like them to be a little bit browned, and they're firm, but they're still pliable. And then it is, in my mind at least, the perfect BLT. I do like pork, although I cannot digest pork chops. I like specklop, I like speck, I like bacon, I like ham. But for some reason, I just can't digest pork chops. I just can't do it. When I was in the Netherlands the last time, they were selling pig heads in the store. And I was like, oh man, I want to get one. But Liz was freaked out by the idea, so I was like, well, I guess I'll have to do it a different time. Apparently, it's really easy to cook them, by the way. Next time I'm there, you best believe I'm cooking a pig head. That's going to be hilarious. Adam Berger. Hitler actually designed the uniforms. I think he gave ideas, but they were designed literally by Hugo Boss. Yes, iceberg lettuce only. I do agree with you. If you're having a salad, it's different. For BLT, it must be iceberg, because the only purpose of it is to give it its characteristic crunch. You're not adding flavor, I mean, a little tiny bit. You're not really trying to do that. You're just trying to give it a crunch, and you're trying to make it a little bit more moist, too, because the bacon and the bread is going to be more on the dry side. I love BLTs. Yeah. I know how to make food. I cooked a veggie soup the other night. Mm. Along with the nettles, which came out delicious, and the fiddleheads, actually. The fiddleheads were a little bit further past. The reason why I sugared them is because they were a little bit too bitter. Like, they were a little bit past when you would normally... I should have harvested them a week ago, basically. No, Ulrang the Viking. Pepper jack cheese does not go on a BLT. That is an entirely different concoction. Iceberg lettuce, large but thinly sliced tomato, double stack of bacon, at least, usually maybe a triple stack, lightly toasted bread, and lots of mayo. That's all you need. Richard Verdedow Sticks, if you ever put ketchup on a BLT, no, it does not need ketchup. Also, by the way, if you're going to stack the bacon, you can always put the lettuce and tomatoes in the middle and have two different layers of bacon. It actually works really well. And I've noticed that if you take your hands like this and press down gently on the sandwich to try to compress it a little bit, it makes it less messy. BLTQ plus. I knew that we would get into some sort of side argument about food and stuff like that. Sigil, pig roasting tip. Get a big-ass rotisserie smoker. It's more economical to rent one. To fit an entire pig, soak the pig in mayo and slow roast it for an entire day. Best fucking pork I ever had. The irony, the best pork that I ever had. One time, my uncle made a maple glazed pork. And I never knew that he could cook at all. I can't remember what holiday it was, or if it was a holiday at all. This was when I was really little. And he cooked a ham and potatoes and yams and had a salad and everything else under the sun. It was an enormous amount of food. And of course, this is at the age when it's like you scarf down the fucking food. I can't remember how many courses I went through, but I think it was 4. It was the best ham that I've ever had. And I never knew before this that he could cook anything. He didn't seem like the type of person who would be, particularly interested in cooking. But he's actually just as good as my dad, actually. And my dad was a chef for like 30 fucking years. I hate to brag, but I may be quite good at cooking as well. If you came over to my house right now, I could whip you up a soup fairly easily as long as I've got the ingredients, and you would like it. It's like I make tomato basil soup, but I make it the old style way. That is, a lot of people, they liquefy it completely. And it's sort of like the stuff you get in a can, generally speaking. I like to keep it a little bit rustic, so I'll use a potato masher in order to semi-liquefy, what I'm making. But I'll leave some, semi-chunks in there. And it has to have a shit ton of basil, by the way. That's what I'm talking about. Primal werewolf. What the fuck? I am a vampire, so werewolves are my enemies. I'm just joking. You're all good. Now, this is a very, very strange article. Science News. A man let snakes bite him 202 times. His blood helped create a new anti-venom. Tim Fried remembers his worst snake bites in screaming detail. I wonder why. The first was from an Egyptian cobra. The second, an hour later, from a monocled cobra. Both bites occurred in his home in Wisconsin. Both were from highly venomous snakes. Neither bite was an accident. Fried let the cobras bite him on purpose. Now he's logged 202 snake bites in total. It always burns and it always feels painful, he says. After the back-to-back cobra bites, Fried had to be airlifted to the hospital and spent 4 days in a coma. Was it a mistake? Yes. Was it stupid? Yes, he says. But he was in it for the science. That's called dedication. Sort of like when I used to electrocute myself in order to examine the concept of amputation via electricity in small insects. Sometimes those of us who are inclined towards experimentation do crazy things. For nearly 20 years, Fried has self-immunized against venom from some of the world's deadliest snakes. The process involved milking venom from snakes, then injecting tiny, followed by increasingly larger, doses into his body. Think The Princess Bride, says Jacob Glanville, president and CEO of the biotech company Centevax. In the movie, Wesley built up immunity to the poisonous and fictional iocane powder by gradually exposing himself to it over time. That's essentially what Fried did, Glanville says. He slowly, methodically injected ever greater amounts of venom into his body over months and years, eventually building up immunity to more than a dozen venomous snakes, including coral snakes, black mambas, and rattlesnakes. Then he'd let snakes bite him. Without that slow buildup, bites by most of these snakes would have killed him, Glanville says. But Fried survived. That's because he's got what may be a one-of-a-kind assortment of antibodies cruising through his bloodstream. These molecules can neutralize the toxins rampant in different venoms, and they may one day help accidental snakebite victims too. Apparently, based on his research in part, they have now developed a multi-antivenom. That is an antivenom that is effective for multiple species of snakes. They have managed to do that. AI is also helping out as well, because it's capable of analyzing things, if it's working singularly, more efficiently than even a whole group of humans can do so. It's capable of doing it 1,000 times faster and more efficiently. So we can develop, possibly, a universal antivenom. Imagine something that blocks any poison known to man. That would be helpful. Oh, it doesn't matter what poison you've just ingested or what snake just bit you. We'll just inject you with this. You'll be right as rain within an hour. It is possible to do that, by the way. I'm sure that it is chemically. It's just a matter of finding the right chemical concoction. I appear to be stuck on my microphone, and that's not good. Ah, shit. Alright, we'll extract you first. Then we can extract you. It's all about reasoning. Yeah, so apparently it is possible to create a multi-antivenom. They've already created it. It's still in testing, so we'll have to wait and see. You're going to have to wait until somebody gets bitten by a snake and you've got FDA approval, I suppose, before you can actually test how effective it is. By the way, some people smoke snake venom, I believe. Isn't it over in Central Asia? It's considered like a rite of passage to mix snake venom with hashish and smoke it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Drennan, that's Ozzy Osbourne level immunity. Yeah, apparently they've been testing Ozzy's blood for a considerable period of time too, because they determined that the number of drugs and the amount of alcohol he ingested back, especially in the 1970s and 80s, should have killed him. She should not be alive. One or more of his organs should by now have failed, and he should not literally be alive. Instead, he was still going strong. I mean, he's puttering around saying, who stole my marijuana? Which one of you kids took it? Sharon, search the kids' rooms. Somebody took my marijuana. Oh, Ozzy, you just lost your bag under the bed. Oh, yeah, all right. Ozzy is practically fucking mummified by the drugs that he's used. It doesn't surprise me that he's still alive. I like that one with the, the Pepsi Twist commercial. Look up Ozzy Osbourne Pepsi Twist if you want to see something really fucking funny. They had it on all the time when I was a kid. And yeah, bunch of loony Britishes. And apparently, I do a fairly good accent. A bunch of loony Britishes. Sharon, the kids have turned the Osmonds. Hall 9000, are you high? No, absolutely not. I am completely sober. Tired? Yes. High? No. Do a good Aussie. Richard Fernandau, Sticks, do your friend's accent today too. I need an American cigarette, a glass of wine, some snails. Oh yeah, CJ, of course I'm high on caffeine. Cheers! There's not a day that goes by that I don't imbibe caffeine. I'd have to say your Bernie's on point, but your Ozzy Osbourne impression is just perfect. All you have to do is, you've got to get the accent right, of course, but you also have to be a bit on the incoherent side at times. It's like when you turn with Black Sabbath, what's going on? There's women flying around, and you use so many drugs, you literally see them floating through the walls and things like that. And eventually you run out of weed and cocaine and things like that. And took heroin one time. Uh, and I thought that the band manager was there, but he wasn't. He was just levitating in front of me, and it was a big problem. And then I had a couple of groupies that said, "Dude, you gotta calm down, and you just go to bed." I just like doing the Aussie impression. Liverpool. The Sixth Beatle. Yeah, it would be hilarious if Ozzy ever teams up with Paul McCartney. That would be absolutely hysterical to me. I think some people think that Ozzy Osbourne is a bit of a sellout. I don't see it that way. Like, yes, his political views lean to the left. I understand that. He does have TDS. But I've always been able to parse people from like sort of what they do, like their talents and skills, like singing, art, and so forth, from their political views. And I use Annie Lennox as the preferential example because Annie Lennox was my first hot childhood crush, uh, obviously, and I like her music. But that doesn't mean that I like her political views. I hate them, actually. I think that they're retarded. But that doesn't mean that she's retarded with regards to music. She has one of the all-time best voices. She puts on one hell of a show. She's maintained her capabilities into, I believe her 60s now. Um, Very, very talented individual. It doesn't mean that I have to agree with her sociopolitics. Sigil, is this man Sicilian? Never bet against him when death is on the line. Cultivated mind. I have a friend that is using snake venom as a medicinal treatment to kill an infection in his brain right now. I guess we will see if it works. Yes, you can actually get that in certain co-ops. Actually, I believe you can get snake venom in the co-op in Rutland, which I'm going to later, actually, because I need to get bread. Inland Surfer, Romania is home to your vampire homeland. Transylvania! Romanians should summon Vlad the Impaler to meet with Zelensky to finish it up. I would love to see Romania. Also, Romanian cooking looks pretty good, too. Jessica Isaac, I worked stage lasers and confetti cannons for Sir Paul McCartney. That's interesting. That must be quite a story to tell. Titus Flavius Vespanius, just working my way up to journeyman. I'm an apprentice right now. Ah, an entered apprentice. I get the reference. Maybe I'll get some snake venom. Maybe I'll take it. I can't inject it, of course, because I hate needles. I pass out even at the sight of them, actually. Little known fact, I am afraid of needles. When I was a kid, I thought that when they were taking blood samples, that my blood wouldn't come back, and that I would slowly die as a result of this. And so I was terrified, and it gave me a bit of a phobia of needles. Stephen Nizick enters the live stream to sticks talking about a musician's political views. Wait, which musician? Does Anya have political views? I don't know, actually. Sigil, would you say that right now Ozzy is only mostly dead, not completely? Yeah, he appears to have drugged himself to the point of immortality, actually. I have no clue what's going on with Ozzy Osbourne because, I mean, he's all fucked up, that much is clear. But he refuses to die. More power to him. There's nothing wrong with that. He's probably going to be like, oh, God damn it, I woke up again. I just wish that I could die. I tried shooting myself, but it just didn't work. Yeah, he's so drugged up that he can't even successfully kill himself or something like that. That would be Ozzy. That would be Ozzy. Yeah. Ozzy may be a little bit on the brain dead side at this point, but his body is still going. I have no doubt he's tried to commit suicide. Tenor life, he actually seems a bit more coherent lately. Yes, here's the thing. Like, he had been relatively, by his standards, other than the weed, he had been sober for a considerable length of time. But a couple of years ago, he just randomly wandered off, probably with several women, and left Sharon in a lurch. And he was clearly coked up and all messed up, and they couldn't even find him. There was like a missing person sort of thing going on with regards to him. And all he was doing drugs and fucking, basically. And then he comes crawling back to Sharon. Oh, I'm so sorry. I made a big mistake. My rock, my island, and stuff like that. And she took him back. She's always stood by her man. You know, they've got an interesting dynamic. Over easy mode. Can you craft magic items yet? Already got some. Yeah, Sharon is very long suffering with regards to Ozzy. And it's partially because he's a very rich and powerful individual. And so she's like, she'll roll her eyes. And I'm sure that she's had her own boyfriends as well. You think that an 80s partying cocaine couple, you think both of them haven't had flings? Of course they have. Sharon just doesn't want him to wander off when he does it. If she found him in bed with a couple of hookers, she probably would just roll her eyes and leave the room, honestly. Sharon! The swamp cleaner. Watch Sharon pass away first. Dude, I'll tell you this. If that happens, Ozzy will kill himself. Without Sharon, he is incapable of functioning. In fact, I feel a little bit akin to him in this sense. Some of us, we have talent, we have charisma, but we don't have organizational skills and social skills like normal people do. It is very difficult for us to function. So yeah, if Sharon goes, Ozzy, he'll be dead within a week probably. He'll kill himself. Inland Surfer, Keith Richards and Ozzy probably have their own dialysis machines or blood banks. I doubt that they have to be on dialysis, but they probably do have blood on storage, yeah. Sigil, if you're still passing out from needles, one trick is to bear down like you're trying to pass a massive shit. Don't actually shit yourself. Um, yeah, I'll just avoid needles. That's why I could never be a heroin addict. Voglin Boy, long live Ozzy Osbourne and King Cobra JFS. Ozzy's gone crazy? He's on. Ozzy doesn't use drugs. You gotta understand. Ozzy is drugs. Sigil. Every time a musician dies, Keith Richards experiences the quickening. You know what I would like to see? I would like to see Ozzy Osbourne with Stevie Stevens. Oh, Jesus, would they be shredding it out? Karen Burns, I was enjoying their podcast. Haven't seen it lately. Sticks, heroin can be snorted. Just saying. Yeah, I know, but, I couldn't inject it. Any drug that needed to be injected. And I'm not interested in, ruining my nose or shoving things in my ass, so, yeah, heroin is off the table for me. Oh, how sad. What a terrible loss. Yeah. I would never do hard drugs. It's not worth the time, it's not worth the money, and it's certainly not worth the deleterious nature to your health. Now, if you're talking psychedelics, I used plenty of those, but I never got addicted to any because most of them aren't really addictive anyway. Bobby Bobinson, not even a carrot from New Orleans? Yeah, that carrot was creepy, actually. Some of you may have seen that Twitter picture that I posted. It was right next to one building, right at the edge of the, I guess, alleyway or little enclave or whatever. And there was just a carrot sitting there, propped up by the stairs. And I figured, somebody clearly put it there on purpose, otherwise it wouldn't likely be propped up. So I have a feeling that this carrot was used for a different purpose. And then I was chuckling about that. Posted it on Twitter, actually. Yeah, I have a feeling that that carrot was inside somebody's asshole or vagina. Possibly both. We're not 100% sure. I have a feeling that somebody had a really, really whacked out night that night. Richard Vernadow, Sticks, did you ever have pizza NOLA? Yes, Pizza Luna. Exquisite pizza. The best that I've ever had, actually. Pizza Luna, right in the downtown of New Orleans, has, in my opinion, the best pizza that I've tried. It's more of the New York style. It's not the Chicago style or anything like that. It is very, very, very good. I always get it with extra cheese and with lots of mushrooms on it. Sigil, plot twist. It was Styx's carrot. Yeah, no, yeah, it could be related. Cursed carrots are part of voodoo rituals, says Zeta Reticulus. It's possible. You never know, and you're going to see the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life if you go to New Orleans. Trust me, just let me tell you. I've been there 5 times. You are going to see and hear and experience everything. It's insane. Basically, imagine a city where there are parts of it that are effectively run by nut jobs. And I don't say that in a bad way, just to be clear. I like it. I like the chaos. But it doesn't always make sense, the way that things work there. Let's put it that way. I can't wait to get back there and eat some more good food. I want more fried catfish on the Natchez or something. Yeah. By the way, on the Natchez, ironically, the lunch cruise is better than the dinner cruise, actually. The lunch cruise has better food. Then you'll get fried catfish and yams and stuff like that. On the dinner cruise, they start off with an aperitif of gumbo, and the gumbo's alright. There's nothing wrong with it. But the overall dinner is actually inferior to, and by the way, they've seemed to have changed it. The first time I went on, they plated you up. The last time I went on, it was more like just an open buffet, and it's like basically, hey, go and plate up your own food and stuff like that. Although I will admit the fried chicken is very good. Oh, I don't know. Tigers are my totem, sent $10. Thank you very much. Yeah, New Orleans is, it's on par with Amsterdam for weirdness. And I say that in a positive way, by the way. While I have my current problems there, it's still a very, very fun city. Very, very fun. There's a million things to do. You couldn't do it all in a lifetime. Sigil, my mom has been to Nowlands, and she shared a story of the cemeteries at sundown and had truly gigantic bugs crawl out of the graves after nesting in the bodies to do nightly bug stuff. Ever see that? No. I would love to. That sounds fun. Hmm. Oh, yeah. Turtles Toy Box. Fried oyster po' boys are my jam. Yeah, I like po' boys. But I will tell you something. I have had oysters 3 times in my life. Every single time I have gotten food poisoning. I don't know whether it's literal food poisoning or whether I'm allergic to them. I am never touching oysters again. Which is sad because, they smell good. They look good. Shucking some oysters. Do a little old shuck and jive and stuff like that. Sounds fun. But I don't think that I can eat them, unfortunately. I'll resort to scallops instead. I like scallops. I like crawfish. Oh, I had the crawfish bisque at Ralph's on the park. It is literally the best food I have had in my entire life. If you ever go to Ralph's on the park, tell them the satanic pirate sent you or something like that. Troll them a little bit. It'll be hilarious. Styx sent me. Who? That piratical dude that came here and got the crawfish bisque? Yeah. Their turtle soup is also delicious. I'd give the turtle soup a 9 out of 10, but the crawfish bisque is like an 11 out of 10. It is absolutely superb. I'm hoping that when I get back there, as I will soon, they have that as the soup of the day. If they don't, I will be sorely disappointed. HAL 9000, like squid? No, scallops don't taste like squid. They have an undefinable flavor. You just have to try them. They don't taste like anything else I've really tasted, actually. Squid is good, though. Calamari. I think they have that at Ralph's, actually, come to think of it. And crawfish is like crayfish, crawdads, crawdaddies, however you say it. They're all the same thing. And they're delicious, let me tell you. No, their crawfish bisque is literally the best food that I've had in my entire life. That's how good it is. This even supplants eel sushi, and for over a decade, that's been my favorite food. And before that, things like tuna noodle casserole, which is still one of my top 10s. Just saying, my mom and dad make really good tuna noodle casserole. I just like to load it with a lot of ketchup. I'm hoping that we have it soon, actually. But yeah, crawfish are like miniature lobsters. They're about maybe this long or thereabouts. And there's actually a crawfish in the bisque. And it's flavored, of course, with additional crawfish. And you eat the whole thing. You can eat it head and all. That's what I do, at least. Just chew it up. Once it's cooked enough, it doesn't matter. Sigil, next time you go, confirm this. Apparently, in cemeteries in the lowest sections of the city at sundown exactly. You won't see them otherwise, and these bugs are supposed to be fucking massive. That sounds fucked. No, John Lincoln, on tuna noodle casserole. Ketchup goes with any noodly food that is not Italian in nature and therefore uses a marinara sauce or a white sauce. Steven Smyrnow, suck the head, eat the tail. No, I just chew it all down. I just extract it and eat the whole thing. It doesn't matter if there's chitin in there. Yeah, you should have seen me devour the soup. They also have good salads. The turtle soup, of course, is iconic. They have all sorts of stuff. It's a little bit more on the expensive side than some restaurants. I mean, it's not fast food or anything like that. This is the sort of place where you get the white tablecloth. But it's not totally fancy dining either. It's sort of intermediate. It's like affordable luxury mode, basically, for restaurants, Ralph's on the Park. But trust me, they will set you up with one hell of a goddamn meal. Tell 'em Styx sent ya. The vampire sent ya. Jessica Isaac, you ate cooter. Yeah, I've eaten vagina before, yeah. Believe it or not. It's enjoyable. Hal 9000. Ketchup overpowers. Oops. Ketchup overpowers anything it's added to. Plebe food. It depends on what it's on. It will not overpower the taste of a well-done hot dog if it's well made. It will not overpower the taste of a well-made burger, for example. I put it in tuna noodle casserole because I find that it blends really, really well with the sort of creamy pasta and the peas. And I always insist that double the peas are added because I really like them. They go good with ketchup too. I've put ketchup on waffles before, actually. You aren't eating mud bugs properly if the heads don't whistle when you suck the meat out, says Betty Momo. Ooh. Alright. CJ, no, I have not eaten one of those, thankfully. Everyone's talking about drugs and random foods and New Orleans and stuff and crawfish. I will eat just about any food once. I had fugu, actually, the other day, blowfish soup that was sent by JD. And I can't wait to try that sea urchin salt, by the way. That's going to be amazing, I believe. I've never had sea urchin before. My understanding is that it's basically just regular salt that's impregnated with sea urchin, like an extract or a powder or something like that. I've tried to get sea urchin sushi. I know you can get it in Japan, but I've never been able to acquire it anywhere here, including in Burlington, or in anywhere, basically. So I've never actually tasted it. So I'm going to put some in the soup, I believe, when I reinvigorate it with the peppers and so forth. Because you'll need more salt, because keep in mind, every time you add something to the soup, it will tend to absorb salt, especially the next day. And so if you're going to add more broth and so forth, you're going to need to add a little bit of extra salt. So I figure a couple of pinches, that should probably do it. I don't like my soup terribly salty, but it also can't be completely bland and tasteless, because otherwise, that becomes a problem. Anyways, no more super chats or rumble rants, please. I have to, I think I've got a couple over here. Ramon C. GTC, we need spicy garlic shrimp. Delicious. They have that at Ralph's. Ralph's on the Park in New Orleans. Trust me, it is really good. They have a shrimp scampi. Sigil, chicks always want you to eat their pussy, but freak the fuck out when you bring out the skillet and butcher knife. They won't even tell you what herbs and wine to pair with it. Fucking bipolar weirdos. Yeah, I mean, eating pussy is fun. Just saying. Copium poppies. Poop. Yeah, we can be frank on this particular channel. I've decided to give up trying to be mature. You may have noticed this from my manner of dress. It's no longer necessary to do so. I'm simply here to have fun. What's the point of having a job if you can't do that? Doesn't even make sense now, does it? Sometimes you can be forced and pressed into labor or something like that, but if you've got the choice, why not have a few chuckles along the way? Even people in the 9-to-5 corporate atmosphere, they still go to the water cooler once in a while and joke about sports or something like that. Have a little bit of fun. Put bovrite in your soup, says Pre-59 Cuban. Yeah, I'm actually thinking of doing that. Thank you for reminding me that that's there. I'm actually thinking of doing that. This would be better, though. Based on the flavor profile. Yeah. That would be good for a beef and barley. or perhaps a beef stew. It wouldn't be good for the soup that I've got now, because it's a veggie soup, and so, you know, that's beef in part. So I'm not going to add it to the vegetable soup. I'm just going to add a red pepper, a little more broth, which I'll make with just a standard veggie bouillon, and just reheat it basically, and that should be fine. I think I've got some other vegetables on hand, but I can't remember exactly which ones. I can always put in more carrots and celery, and there's still another half of an onion. So we'll see what we do. Sigil. So whenever I can get a chick to stay till long enough to cut it off, how should I cook her pussy? Fried, broiled, braised, simmered? Do I done season the pussy? Need advice. I've always found it best to go in, well, I shouldn't talk about that. I'm not going to give away my trade secrets. What the hell? I've got to reorient my my cable there. It has some problems. Yeah, I won't give my trade secrets away. I will tell you this though. When you are with a woman, you have to ask her what she likes. Have her describe what you're doing down there and what she likes and what she does not. And then you have to develop a sort of formula in order to please her. If you are capable of truly pleasing her, and you have the stamina to do so, and women get off at different times, the same as men, you will reap the rewards, my friend, you know, when it comes gushing out onto your fucking face. When I was younger, I didn't understand that sort of thing. I just thought, you know, you just go inside and you fuck. Then later on, I realized, oh shit, women are a little bit more complex than that now, aren't they? So are men, by the way. Some women think that all they have to do is wrap their lips around your dick and all of a sudden you just start squirting everywhere. It's not the way that it works, ladies. Well, not for most men, anyway. Oh, Zeta Reticulus. Crawfish stock is called a fumet. Or fumet. I don't know how to pronounce that. Etouffee and shrimp creole. Tenerife. I had an ex that was a squirter. I've had multiple. Yeah, no. All you've got to do is attempt to analyze what the other person is pleased by versus displeased by. You can tell this by body language, or you can get them to guide you through it on, you know, your first few attempts. Once you get the hang of it, it should be fairly easy. But if you do want a meaningful, long-lasting relationship, I hate to tell you this, but sex is going to be part of that. It's going to be one of the foundational bases of that relationship. Because let's face it, we're all sexual creatures. Even people who claim to be asexual, they still like sexual things, they just don't want to fuck. And so you've got to be mindful of this. If you get with an asexual, of course, you might be having sex, but don't expect them to particularly enjoy it. If you are gay, you're going to get with a dude. Maybe you're top, maybe you're bottom, maybe you're a switch, whatever the hell it happens to be. If you're straight, like I am, when you get with someone, you need to it's sort of like diagnosing what they need for their body to get off. And people are different, wildly different with regards to the things that turn them on or off. It's as simple as that. We're all adults here, so, you know, we can talk about this sort of thing. Yes, Sigil, you are fundamentally correct. Squirt is not pee, and only virgins on Reddit think it is. Some girls will piss when they orgasm, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But gushing is different. The vagina has a tendency to retain a gelatinous fluid called cum. And when they orgasm and the vagina begins to contract and spasm, that tends to drip out. It's not the same as piss. It's not the same. And broccoli, too early in the day to cough up my bang bang shrimp sticks. Pre-59 Cuban, I'm 70 and prefer a good BM. No, 13 Retonian, it's not pee. There is a difference. Cum collects in the vagina. When a woman, therefore, contracts, when they're orgasming, like really getting off, and they spasm, it forces the cum out, and it begins dripping everywhere. This is not the same as pee. It is possible for a woman to begin peeing because she's, really orgasming. I'm not discounting that. But it can also be a gushing of a different fluid. No, Tenerife, it does not come out of the urethra. Pee is in the balls. Yeah, Drennan, I'm sure that it's going to get clipped. It means nothing to me. This is now sexual education. I should do a live stream that's just sex ed or something like that. I'll give people schooling lessons. Jenny Simon admitting to squirting a few times. Yeah, Bobby, yes, Kino will obviously talk about it. Glands on the side of your vagina. Yes, there are excretory glands associated with the female reproductive system that help to keep it clean. And so they create liquid and it drips out. And it helps keep the vagina clean, generally speaking, by removing bacteria and so forth. And they can be excited by sexual action. Mr. Buster Pants, pussy on a stick, my favorite. Can't wait for Sticks to seethe about Kino Casino covering this. I'm not gonna watch it at all. I don't give a shit. They're about to get ripped apart by Razor Fist, so, color me unimpressed. I think people vastly overestimate their capabilities against the empire that has clanked them. Why do you think that I've gone an hour and 30 minutes? I find this fun. Jenica. Well, I don't care. Hal, Styx has been in pornos. No, actually. Although if I knew what I knew now, what I knew then, yeah, I probably would have appeared in some pornographic videos. That would have been fun. Who the hell is Moist Critical? I don't even know who that is. Oh, John Lincoln. Sticks, what do you make of Trump's May 4th trolling? I think it was masterful, and it was a classic Trump move. Sigil. Get yourself a woman that gently squirts while wearing a gas mask attached to your asshole, where you punch her in the back of the head with brass knuckles and your leg is in a bear trap. Um, all right. Zeta. Jerry said he will bring Sticks back when he gets clean. Um, where was this said, and who is Jerry? I'm assuming you mean the quartering. Bye, Jenica. Mark Hamill's TDS. Oh, God. Yeah, Luke Skywalker has joined the dark side for sure. He thinks he's fighting against the Empire, but it doesn't seem that he's actually doing so. Oh, John Lincoln. Jenica was a person that was just posting here and just saying retarded shit, so I decided to ban her. And it's very, very rare that I do that, by the way. I'm not dealing with bullshit anymore. Dab Shank the First. Do you like the Joy Division and the Happy Mondays? Both, yes. Also, MGMT, if you haven't heard of them. And I've actually got my favorites list now public for the first time. So if you take a look at that, you'll see some of the music that I like. We've got, yeah, let me look it up really quick. I don't have anything else to do at the moment. Let's see. Let's go to our playlist. Go to the YouTube studio, dude. Piss. Yeah, look up, can you please load? The hell is your problem? YouTube's having problems today, I've noticed. I'm not exactly sure. Huh. Not exactly sure what's happening. It keeps giving me the oops, we're having problems, page, actually. Oops, something went wrong. Yeah, maybe they're preparing to just destroy me or something. But yeah, look up MGMT, especially, let me look it up on my phone. I'll do you a solid. Let me see. What was I on last? Look up Little Dark Age by MGMT. That's a good idea. Also, I Like the Way You Kiss Me by Artemas. That's a good song. That's on the radio all the time anyway, so you probably already heard it, but it's still a great song. And If you look up Mayor Breslin, that's Breslin, you're going to learn a lesson in this delicatessen. That's an AI generated song, but it's one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Yeah, The Cure's on there, Sisters of Mercy. Sisters of Mercy, definitely. They have to be on any good playlist. Also, if you want to see one of the funniest things that you'll ever see, look up Full Metal Jacket Star Wars. They took Star Wars and they put Gunny, Sergeant Gunny, over Darth Vader for the voiceover. And it came out just about perfect, actually. Zeta, I would buy Styx Hexenhammer hair care products. Yeah, I need to wash my hair later in a couple of days. Jenny is now getting horny for Elon Musk, and people apparently are jacking it in chat. Jesus H. Christ. This is just a normal day, by the way. You know, for people who aren't used to clankdom, this is how we normally act. Insane. John Lincoln. Yes, there is something I would deem myself lazy about. Picking up my bedroom and keeping it clean. Because I just say, like, hey, the only thing I need in here is my bed and a pillow. So why should I go all out and spend hours cleaning? Titus Flavius Vespasianus. Drop LSD and watch gore. Sigil, you're welcome for this. Let's see. If Darth Vader had an Indian accent. Oh god, I'll have to watch that. Thank you for that. I'll have to watch it later, though. Jenny Simon, I'm gonna dance with the broom. Does that mean you're using the broom handle for some sort of ulterior reason? John, no, I do not have the Mercedes anymore. Since I'm not primarily residing in the Netherlands, there was no reason to fund it. Richard Vernadow. Sticks, can you do an Italian accent? Ha ha ha! Yes, slightly. I've thought about doing a series called Gay Mario, actually, where you go through 8 episodes of Mario and his friend Antonio, and Antonio's rambling about, you know, Mario's homosexuality, basically. Copium Poppies, did you ever watch Freddy Got Fingered? No, I've never seen it. Mario, I know you are depressed because a mafia man, he leave your ass. Ha ha! I know this because you have a ragu on your shelf. You used to make the best pasta in the world, Mario. Ha 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 ha! But now you use a ragu because you are homosexual and stuff like that, you know. Groomer Fist. Styx, denounce Stolas and Jeremy as false idols. You need to come kneel at the altar of the Felted and ask forgiveness for your cringe. Fuck yourself. Not interested, my friend. No, Jeremy had my back during my literal darkest hour. And as far as the Kino crowd and people like that, I just don't give a shit. John, Sticks, would you live in New York City, especially based on the food? I don't like big cities. I really don't. I prefer being in semi-rural conditions. I can grow my own food and make it myself. Poppy, Sticks must repent eventually. No, hail Satan. Don't give a shit. To be clear, I may not worship the devil. I don't even believe in Satan, actually. But it's funny to troll people about it. They get awfully upset when I say such things. Copium Poppies, Bad Sticks, Clankdom assigned watching Freddy Got Fingered as your homework. You gotta watch it. Oh, well. Yes, to be clear, I'm not a Satanist. I'm an occultist, but I have no problem with Christ or Christianity or anything like that. It's all good. But if it upsets people, good, because I still don't give a fuck. Go ahead and pray for me all you want. I don't give a shit. It literally means nothing to me. Your religion is yours. I don't have a religion. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. It's just the way that I am. I can't force myself to believe the way that you believe necessarily. Now can I? Yeah, the casino's not rising. They're about to get sued probably for a six-figure sum, so I'm not particularly worried about them, nor do I give a damn. I am Team Razor Fist on this one. The Razor Force shall rise. John, yes, high church versus low church is an interesting topic. I'll talk about this and then I'll go offline because I've been almost 2 fucking hours. The high church movement is ritualism. The low church movement is basically pray your conscience. So they have a book for the low church movement, which is very small now, unfortunately, and is the true Christian movement, which I respect. They use the common book of prayer. They get together. They have their own communities, usually rural and somewhat insular, like the Amish or something like that. And they help each other. They do charity, which starts at home, but then once they have, something to produce, it branches out from there. The high church movement is you have a standing structure that's a temple, basically a church, with stained glass and scepters and gold gilding and stuff like that, and people pour in and they go through the motions, but they're not really feeling the religion itself. They're not really involved with the religion itself. All they're doing is kind of saying a prayer, but it's not really a prayer at all. It's just empty words. That's the high church movement. The Catholic Church represents the progenitor of the high church movement. It was very Romanized, literally stealing pagan holidays and shit like that. And then, unfortunately, it managed to infect most Protestant congregations around the world. And so most Christians follow a high church movement, which is not what Jesus taught. If you want to go to heaven, I assure you, you're not going to go to heaven by being a Catholic, for example. You will go to hell, assuming that your religion is true. I mean, I have a disagreement, but assuming that it was true, it's not going to happen. Most Protestant congregations do the same thing, now don't they? There was a big kerfuffle between the Catholics and the Protestants for several hundred years. It's like it doesn't even make any difference. It really should be between whether you're having a community, a low church movement with private charity, trying to help each other, having your families, doing your best, praying your conscience, or whether it's going to become very much prescribed and hierarchical with the stained glass and so forth. That's basically the difference. Jesus taught the former, the The latter has become more popular simply because of iniquity and sin, actually. Yes. Sigil, oh, and notice they stay on YouTube where they won't see naughty words, because here on Rumble we call them the racial slurs they deserve. Have these Kino Copacino dudes not have jobs or something? I'm at mine. They keep coming by and get told to fuck themselves. Self-abuse is fine, but this is getting sad. Yeah, I just don't care what they say. I haven't seen any video by Warski in years, actually. I just don't give a fuck. The era of blood sports is kind of unfortunately over. Thought he was a bro. Thought wrong, I suppose. Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to continue doing my work. He'll continue doing his. We're content creators. It's all good, you know? Roast beef. Bring on sleazy pea martini. Groomer Fist seems to be obsessed with the concept of the Kinos. The casino's rising. They're more than willing to fight for their freedom of speech. Razor Queer is going to bleed himself dry trying to fight silence the casino. Freedom of speech! Well, yes, but freedom of speech does not include the freedom to literally defame another person. In a private lawsuit, I'm sure that he will achieve fairly amicable settlement. I've been defamed too. I just don't have the will to bother. They're very fortunate that I don't lash out against them. It's not necessary. You know, what do they have? Like 10 viewers at this point, I guess. It's all good. They got that fat ass on there, and he dingles his triangle and weird shit like that, and it's like, Warski, you're more talented than this. Could you not have chosen somebody that wasn't completely dysgenic and retarded to be your co-host? That's all that I would ask. Because then I'd be watching your show religiously, actually. If you had chosen somebody that was, you know, sane, had an intelligence above that of a turtle, that would probably be a good idea. Whatever. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah, Kino is Andy Race Warski and some fat degen who showed his butthole online. Yeah, I'm gonna take them seriously. They're a real threat to me. It's funny because people will ramble about me dressing as a pirate, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, because I just don't take life seriously anymore. But other people will pretend to take life seriously, and they're still fucking retarded. Still doing crazy shit. I admit that I probably look retarded to the average person. Like, I give a goddamn fuck. It means absolutely nothing to me. When I go through the streets, people are always saying, "Arr, Jack Sparrow," and stuff like that, or wanting selfies with me. Kids will come up and apparently think that I'm an actual pirate and stuff like that, and this gives me a chuckle. It makes me amused. It's funny to me. You know, it's great. No, Bobby. They're not threat enough to talk about them. They're cringe enough to talk about them. That's the difference. And I'm not going to change my manner of dress for anyone. I don't give a shit what anyone thinks about the way I dress. It means nothing to me. Nah, Shibisky. Join them, Sticks. Third chair. No thank you. North Idaho elk slayer. Do I mean anything to you, Sticks? Well, if you give me some elk meat, of course, I will compensate you very greatly. Well, Bill, are you still mad at me? No. I'm not mad at anyone. I think people would not believe exactly how passive I tend to be. They probably think that I'm quite forceful. In real life, if you meet me, I tend to be more on the passive side. I just do my own thing, my man. John, are you still into redheads? I'm into people with no Y chromosome. No, Groomer Fist, they're going to lose the lawsuit. They're going to lose the lawsuit. Badly. I've seen the evidence. I've seen the evidence presented by both sides. I am not judge, jury, and executioner. But if I had to make a bet, I would be betting on Team Razor Force on this one. And not just because the Kino Casino, for some bizarre reason, decided months ago to throw me under the bus after I had been friends with Worski, or at least acquaintances with Worski, for several years. It was weird, honestly. I didn't even understand it. I'm like, what the hell is happening here? And I was like, holy shit. Holy black Jesus. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. We're approaching 2 hours, so I think that that's probably a good time to, let it go. I will be back tomorrow, probably. It kind of depends on how many news stories there are. Today was a packed news day. That's why I had to rant for an hour after I already got done with the news. But I've got to go to the store and get my pepper, and preferably tarragon. I want to slice up just a little bit more onion into the soup and butter fry it with tarragon, which I had a bottle of it, but it appears to have gone missing, so I don't know where it is. And if I can do that, then I can make a nice soup. So it's going to be some good times. Bobby, not a libertarian on free speech anymore? Defamation is not free speech. You cannot allege a crime against another person attempting to destroy their career without repercussions. That is legal speech. You are making a declaratory claim against that individual. Same is true of botting and the heckler's veto and a few other things, terroristic threats. Otherwise, you should be able to say whatever you want to. I should be able to call you names that would get me banned from YouTube, actually. You should be able to do the same thing to me. That's about all. Peace out.